Okay, so here's the intro activity for cultural relativism. This I'm going to do this video a little bit differently. This is a video that will kind of walk you through this. So feel free to pause this, and on the doc that's the same as this doc, I'm just working off a PDF, but there's an uploaded doc that you'll open. You do your work on there, but like you can pause this and do your work and then resume it and have me explain the next section to you. So this is a little bit different than things we've been doing before. Okay, hopefully you just listened to the intro lecture. If you have not listened to the intro lecture, go listen to the intro lecture. Okay, so here we go. This will be submitted on Friday, so this is classwork for actually multiple days, though you're only doing part of this today. I'll explain the rest in the second section. Okay, the second session. First part. As of right now, based on your understanding of cultural relativism, like only the things I've talked about and maybe whatever you've heard in the past, generally defend, refute, or qualify cultural relativism. And of course, tell me why you're defending, you're qualifying, or you're refuting. So spend, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes, however long you need, just jot down your ideas. And pause the video. And then when you're ready to resume, you can resume, and then we'll move on to the next section. Okay. So the next part is actually, there's a lot of writing, but there's not a lot of work. It's a lot of brain work, but not a lot of physical work. You've done things like this for me before, where you're laying out how you feel before we start something, so you have something better to judge before we actually go into it. So, below are a bunch of statements about moral and cultural relativism. To the left of each, so right here, is a place to highlight your opinions for each statement. Read each statement and highlight your viewpoint. Defend is D, refute is R, Q is qualify. So there's a whole bunch of statements here. Read each one and highlight to the left of it how you feel about that. So, for example, the first one is, there is clear right and wrong despite belief systems. You defend that, you refute that, or you qualify that. Now, I only want your gut feelings. I don't want, let me give me this 5 minutes. No. What does your gut feeling say? Defend, refute, qualify. Boom, highlight it, move on. There is no such thing as universal right and wrong. Defend, refute, qualify, and highlight, and then move on. So there's like, I think 25 or something around 25. And then there's another section which is very similar. Below are a bunch of, instead of statements, we have questions about moral and cultural relativism. To the left of each is a place to highlight your opinions for each statement. Read each statement and highlight your viewpoint. Yes equals Y, no equals N, maybe equals M, I don't know equals question mark. So you're going to do the same thing here. Read a line. What does your gut tell you? Not what your analysis after 5 minutes. What does your gut tell you? Highlight yes, no, maybe, or I don't know. And then there's, I think, about 25 here. So go through these, highlighting, reading, and then highlighting, reading, and then highlighting for each one. So there's like 25 here, 25 here. It should probably take around 7 or 8 minutes. Pause this video, and then when you're done with that, unpause it. Okay. Now the final part of this intro activity. In the past, I've had you do this with a partner, or things like this with a partner, but I don't want someone else's ideas to contaminate what's in your brain. I want this to be only your brain, and then the growth will happen from here. Now, go back to what you wrote in your original, about your original feelings of cultural relativism in the first box, the one that was all the way at the top. Reread it, fix it, add to it, or change it if needed. So reread that definition. If you're like, oh wow, after some of these prompts, I don't know if I still believe that anymore. Whatever you're changing, put right here. And if you have no change, just put no change, and that's fine. And now we're going to take a few minutes to do that, pause the video, and when you're done with that, unpause it. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of guide you through. So this is the second page of the same doc that the that cultural relativism idea highlighter tracker was on. So let me just briefly explain this, and then you can get working. One of the ways we're going to learn about cultural relativism is read articles related to it, and then figure out what we think about those articles and what those articles are saying, like analyze them. So today, or for the rest of today, all you're doing is this top box. So this is for Thursday right here, or for the second section. So you're just doing text or source number 1. So there's this article. It's called Paying the Price for the Breakdown of the Country's Bourgeoisie Culture, that I'll post as a PDF. Read that article and fill out this chart for that article. So there's 5 steps. I came up with these steps. I'll just go over them briefly with you. 1. What is the major claim or thesis or argument or position of this article? In general, not necessarily about cultural relativism, because only a small part of the article might be about cultural relativism. So what's the general major claim of this article? 2. What is this article saying about cultural relativism? What is it making you think about, question, or what does it force you to confront about cultural relativism? Is it good? Is it bad? Or you're not sure? Why? Or are they not sure, and why? Step 3, evidence. Quote inside a passage that's explicitly on purpose about cultural relativism from this article. And then step 4, explain. No, what does that quote mean? Just like say it in plain language. And then step 5, defend, refute, or qualify the article's stance on cultural relativism. So what you wrote here in step 2, you're going to defend, refute, or qualify whatever the author feels about cultural relativism. So this article is actually fairly tough. So I know from experience, this needs a revisit. So what I'm going to do, I want you to read the article and fill out this chart. Then what I'm going to open on the second session with, or Thursday with, is I'm going to open with my own close reading of the article. And then after my own close reading, you could revisit this and add things. Don't just wait for me to repost, because then you're not working with your own thoughts and ideas. I'd rather you work with your own thoughts and ideas and then hear what I have to say or my interpretation of it. And also on that second part, there's a second article, which we'll do the same thing for. You read it, you fill in the chart, and then you'll listen to my close reading of it. And then adjust any of your answers if you need to adjust them. And that's the classwork for the week. It's this 2-page doc. So it's the theme tracker, or the idea tracker, with your commentary. And then it's Article 1, which is today. And the revisit of Article 1 is the second session, and all of Article 2 is the second session. And that's the introduction to the classwork, or the guided, whatever of the classwork. Okay? Have fun.